Good afternoon. Welcome. This is Marilyn Shannon, and this is the Breaking Free Show. And I am, as always, delighted and effervescent to have you here with me today. So thank you so much. And I know your time is precious, and we're going to make the most of it. And today we're going to be talking about an interesting topic, friendship. And, it's one of those topics that you teach your children about being a good friend and what does it mean to be a good friend. But when was the last time we actually revisited this notion of being a friend, what makes a good friend, and all that stuff? So stay tuned. We're going to be talking about friendship. But before we go on, I want to say hi to Amnon.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm just fine, and happy belated Mother's Day.
Well, thank you very much. It's interesting, Mother's Days. I think it should be called Women's Day because there's a lot of women
That's
that
right.
I meet,
Yeah.
that don't have children
Right.
necessarily, but they're phenomenally loving, caring, compassionate women who nurture other children, be it a niece, a nephew, friends, godchildren, that are just wonderful.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
thank you for that message. And I want to send that message out to all of you that are listening today that are mothers or even stay-at-home dads that are mothering your children.
Right. What about that? Yeah.
What about dads, I want to just send you all kinds of accolades and love and thank yous and all that stuff because the job is not easy. I have children of my own and grandchildren, and it is not an easy job. And it's one that there are books written, but each and every experience that we have as parents is not easy. It's kind of like you go as you go, you learn as you go. And so it's a complicated job, and I want to thank you all for doing it. So you're doing good?
Doing just fine, thank you.
Good. Everything in your life is good.
Everything.
Knock on wood.
Knock
on
on
wood means good luck.
Yeah.
And we're both
Well,
knocking on wood.
It's just so it doesn't go the other
Doesn't
way.
go the other way. So we're going to talk about friendship, but before we do, could you put up that PowerPoint? So here is the first slide of what we're going to be talking about today. And I put this up very, very often because I want you to know that today's show is about us. It's what can we learn together? And this is what I call Speak Your Mind License. This is your day to speak your mind. You can call in about anything that you'd like to call in about. So it's a license. It entitles you to say what you think without fear of judgment. No judgment here. No judgment here. This is an open forum. This is a chat. This is a round table. This is a fireside chat. We're sitting around the kitchen table and talking. That's what the show is about. And I might say something that you have a comment about. Please feel free to call in. Whether you agree or don't agree, you can expand it, expound on it, whatever you like. It's perfectly great with me. You won't have any criticism here. Please open up yourself, open up to the world, and the world will open up with you. And that means a lot to me, this little thing here, because I really mean it. I want you to feel like you can call in anytime and share your thoughts and whatever you think. And the number to call in from wherever you are is 919-518-9773. Or if you're not at a phone or you're in Timbuktu, Australia, you can connect with us on computers, that's plural, the number 2, K Voice, that's on Skype, and you can come in on Skype. And we have a chat window. So please feel free to enter your name right underneath, or not exactly underneath, but near underneath the video. You'll see a little space that'll have nickname, name. Just put whatever you like there, and you can enter into the chat, and you can ask us questions in there as well. Okay? Ready to rock?
Okay, I'll do. I already done it.
Okay, you did? Oh, you did. You're ahead of the game. Okay. So also, can you go to the next slide, if you don't mind? Okay, so survey. I am very, 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 very curious and interested in what you all have to say. It means a lot. So if you have a topic that you would like us to discuss, if you know of someone that you would like us to invite on our show as a guest, if you'd like to come on, we would love to hear from you. So please feel free to go to the Breaking Free Show on Facebook, or Marilyn Shannon on Facebook, and you will see a copy of our survey. And if you fill it out, which is only like 5 questions and they're very short, then I am going to be offering a complimentary coaching session to anybody who fills it out, and it'll be a half-hour session. So please feel free to do that. And in a little bit, I don't have the actual link here, but I will have it in the chat as well. So please feel free to check in the chat with the link. If you have any questions at all about it, you can connect with me personally to Marilyn, Marilyn, at Marilyn Shannon, Shannon, that's Shannon.com. So if you don't have Facebook, but you're interested nonetheless in being part of this survey, because we really want to hear from you, please connect with me personally, and I will be happy to give you the information. So, can you put up the next slide? Thank you. Okay. I believe in love at first sight because I've been loving my mother since I opened my eyes. So in looking for, I love to use these quotes as a way for us to kind of begin our conversations when we have our shows like this. And since today's about friendship, I started looking for all different quotes about friendship and different relationships and what they mean. So I looked for mother quotes about friends, and this is one that just grabbed my heart because she is the first one pretty much that you lay your eyes on. And I thought, wow, what a wonderful way to begin this friendship, this love affair that you have with your mother. And mothers are so important. And coming off of Mother's Day, I thought this was just a beautiful quote to begin our conversation. So, love at first sight, isn't that true? And then the next one. So here's the next one. Perhaps they are not stars in the sky, but rather openings where our loved ones shine down to let us know they are happy. And so many of us have family members, friends, whoever they are, that are no longer with us any longer. But yet they still are in our hearts. They still are in a great part of our memory. And so they're looking down upon us, and they're with us at all times. We're never alone, really. When you have the memories of the loved ones that you have in your heart, you're never alone. And they are some of our greatest friends and greatest allies. And I can sit back many, many times when I'm thinking about loved ones that I've, have traveled with in my lifetime. And I think about some of the things that people have said to me, or the way they helped me to feel throughout my life. And they have enveloped me in the love and in compassion, and have given me this oomph in going forward with my life. And I can think of aunts. I can think of an aunt of my ex-husband's that was very powerful in my life, who's no longer here. And she always would say, Marilyn, you can do anything you want to do. Or she was always interested in what I did. And she always made it sound like whatever I did was really extraordinary to her. And no matter what, she always will be in my heart, and I take her with me wherever I go. And the same thing with my daddy. I tried to find, this was interesting, tried to find really good quotes about dads, about being friends. And I really had a hard time finding good quotes about dads. And my father passed away 4 years ago this week. And so I know when something goes well in my life, I know that my father has a hand in it. And I also know that when there's a close call, I know that my father is there to protect me. So I think this is a really wonderful time of year, to be thinking about all these people in our lives that we can, what?
Yeah.
Right?
That impacted
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a time of blooming. It's a time, I just got a beautiful email from my current husband's former father-in-law, who I really love dearly. He's a great guy. And I just got an email from him, and he was sharing about looking outside of his house and all the beautiful flowers, and and it's a time for consciousness. It's a time for being in the present moment. It's hard, it's these flowers and the blooms and things that are happening and the change of clothing. It's like a wake-up call. It's like a call to say, click, click, it's new, restore, new things coming. Graduations happen. We just had our graduation for my daughter, Alexandra, who just graduated from grad school. And it's another opportunity to say, new again, change, new. And this time of year, it's all over the place. There's barbecues. When we're eating inside for all these months. Now we can eat outside. People are cleaning up their decks. They're watering their lawn. They're planting seeds. Tulips are blooming. I mean, it's a wonderful time to just, check in and go, okay, what's going on for me now? What is, who am I connecting with? How am I doing in my life? Am I living my life the way I've chosen to live my life? Am I living my life based on what somebody else wants me to, how somebody else wants me to live my life? What am I doing? And, this notion of friendship, it just came to me one day. And I thought, so how do we look at each other as friends? Am I being a good friend? Am I taking the time? In our busy life, and we're all busy. I don't care whether you have a 9 to 5-er, a 5 to 7-er, whether you work full-time, part-time, have children, whatever. Life is busy. There's a lot of busyness going on. And it's really important to check in with ourselves and go, how am I showing up? And who is showing up for me? So anyway, let's see. Chris says, oh, hi there, everybody. And she's in the chat. And she wants to know where everybody that's listening is coming in from. Where are you? She's in North Carolina. She's our co-producer. So I'm asked, so that's a great question. Where are you? Where are you listening from? Love to know that. We're in North Carolina. Where are you? And if you're in North Carolina, great. We're in North Carolina. And if you're in New York, where? If you're in Britain, where? We'd love to hear from you. So come on in the chat and share with us. And, by all means, if you have any concepts of anything that we're going to be talking about, love to hear about it. So we're going to go through different relationships. So we've spoken a little bit about moms, and there's so much to talk about when you talk about a mother, like what mothers do.
Now.
Especially now. Yeah, especially now. And like my mother is going to be celebrating her 90th birthday.
Wow.
So, yeah, 90 years old, and she's a twin. And she's as busy as anybody can be. And she has lots and lots and lots and lots of friends. And she's goes to lectures and I'm very blessed.
And travels.
And travels. And I'm very, very blessed and I remind myself, and it's not an unconscious thing. It is an extremely conscious thing that I check in with myself. Like when I'm talking to her on the phone and I want to go check my email, or my cell phone's ringing and it's business or something, and I want to say, Mama, I'll call you right back, or I can't talk to you now. And I do that enough, but there's plenty of times where I'm about to do that and I stop and I think, she is always there for me. And so at 90 years old, I need to check in and say, what is most on the scale? 90, work. What is the most important thing on that scale of love? What is the most important thing? And on that scale, I have to weigh my mother's the most important thing. So I will put my work aside, which is not easy to do, for my mother. And I think about it. So she is always there for me. So I think that's a huge trait of friendship, is somebody who is there for you. And it's not it's not the quantity of the time, it's the quality of the time that they're there for you. So one trait of friendship is somebody who's there for you, can call on the phone, who will listen, who will stop what they're doing to listen to you. That's friendship. And my mother is like that. And these people that have passed through our lives, that are no longer here, that have, encouraged us, have given us the gift of love, whether it was a blip in time or an extended amount of time, whatever they have left for us is valuable. And that is extraordinary and something that we don't want to forget. And those are great friends in our lives. Let's see. So anyway, Julie from North Carolina is on the chat. Well, cool. And anybody else, please feel free to say hi to us in the chat, wherever you're calling from. Remember, all you have to do is put your name and just partake. And it doesn't have to be your real name either. So we're glad to have Julie in there, and we're glad to have Chris in there, and I'm glad to have all of you listening. So now the next slide.
I want to say one
Okay,
thing
go
about
ahead.
The mom.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Mother's Day, Hannah, our daughter, came. She's like 30.
Yeah.
And, she had a gift for Kathy. And you think, some candy or something. She had a mason jar that looked like it had candy in there, but it wasn't candy. It was pieces of paper.
You're gonna make me cry now.
And she told her that and it was a card, and it was like a Megillah on it. I mean, what it
A
was
whole big to do.
a whole big to do. But she's supposed to take out one a day.
Oh, isn't that
And
lovely?
each piece of paper, it's just like the Chinese thing. I mean, but long, it says something about that she's thankful to mom for in her life, what she did for
Isn't
her,
that
what
lovely?
she's thinking. And I say, wow, that, and you never think about doing something like that.
No, that's beautiful.
And
That's beautiful.
really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's beautiful. It reminds me yesterday we had dinner with my children, all of my children. And between my husband and I, there's 5 of them. And then my daughters have husbands, and my stepdaughter.
they have kids.
My stepdaughter has a boyfriend. And so it was very, very special. And my son-in-law did a beautiful card for my daughter, which is her first Mother's Day. And it was beautiful. He did it on whatever one of those online card things are, and he printed it out and put all pictures of my new grandson, which was just beautiful. There's so many ways to show love and connection and care and thankfulness. So many ways, and remembering. And I mean, so what's a friend? A friend is somebody who is a friend. I mean, and somebody you want to be with. Somebody that you like spending time with. Somebody that has, just opened themselves up to you. That's a friend. I mean, a lot of people are around people who are not friends, who they think are friends, but who stand them up, who don't always do all the right things. And I mean, I want to talk about that too. I don't only want to talk about that, but I'm happy to talk about it. But there's so many ways of showing love. So let me check the chat before we go on. Okay. Can you go to that next one about a grandma? Okay. So a grandma. I'll curl up beside you, ask questions by the ton. You'll read me stories, and we'll tell secrets for fun. You have shown me to look for the rainbow's end. I love you, Grandma, 'cause you're my best friend. And I was going to bring in a card that my daughter sent me from my 3-year-old grandson, which is similar to this, and I forgot to bring it today. But it was very much like this, and it was so much like this, because we talk. And the other day it was interesting, because I whispered in his ear, and I said, I'm always going to be here to be with you, Landon. And if you ever want me, I'm right here. I'm your grandma. And it was, and then I saw this, and I said, "Ugh, I just have to share it," because it was I loved it. And I think, when you talk to a child, those are the first things a child will know about connecting. I remember, and this is interesting, the person who I thought was my first friend was one of my parents' friends. I was 3 years old or 4 years old, they talked to me like I was a regular person, and they would talk to me. And I considered this husband and wife to be my very first friend. And it was very interesting, and that gave me self-esteem. That gave me worthiness when I was growing up. And I'll never forget it. I always thought that Greta and Joe were my best friends growing up. So how we are with children, with each other, really matters. And it impacts our lives forever and ever and ever. And that, you don't only do that with a child. You do that with anybody. How you're being, the time you spend, giving of yourself is what I'm talking about. So the next picture, which I think is really cute. You got it? So here we go. So a baby's first friends also are these little stuffed animals. Why? Why is that a baby's first friend, do you think? I mean, they're cuddly, they're warm, they're friendly. They're always with them. They squish. They can take them to bed, and they give them comfort and security. And they're theirs. They're theirs. like a security blanket is a child's best friend. It's theirs. It's something familiar. Those things. So all of those kinds of traits, being there, familiar, just connecting, all of those things mean so much to someone, and those are the building blocks of what friendship is all about. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Questions, anybody out there? Feel free to give us a call, 919-518-9773. Connect with us on computers, number 2, K-Voice. Love to hear from you. Enter the chat. Tell us where you're from. Ask a question. Tell me, what do you think makes up a good friend? I mean, think back. How did you evolve through your life? I mean, what were the first stepping stones that you had through your life that began as friendships? Those stuffed animals that you touched, the security blanket that was in your bed, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. Who were your first friends on TV? You never saw them in real life, but they were your first friends. They were consistent. They said nice things for the most part. Who were your best friends? Who did you talk to? I mean, even though they never talked back, the thing that's, what is that thing?
Mm-hmm.
What is that thing? It made noise, kind of goes around in your crib. What is that thing?
I'm trying to think.
Do you remember? I can't remember, whatever it is. Those busy box things and the wheels and things. I don't
Somebody's probably going to say it in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, shoot.
Can you remember? I can't remember. But those things that you talked to, and that you didn't even know if they were talking back, but it was music. But you talked. You got to express yourself. Those kinds of things, right? So your stuffed animals, your grandma, your grandpa, your mother, your father are instrumental. How are you being? You know what? Some people with their children go overboard in being friendly and are not friendly enough. And that's very interesting, I think, because you do have to draw the line as a parent. How friendly and how not friendly you will be. So what's the balance in friendship? So you are an authority, but it's okay to be friendly. It's okay to talk to your kids honestly, but where do you draw the line? There is a line that you draw. There are some things it's not appropriate to talk to your kids about, like your sex life or certain things that go on in your life. You don't want to talk to your kids about the things that you worry about all the time. You want to be kind and gentle to them.
Mobile,
that's it. Wow, did you look it up?
Yeah.
Oh, mobile. Thank goodness for the internet. Okay, we have somebody calling in.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Amnon. Hello,
Hello.
everybody. It's Chris.
Hey, Chris.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm enjoying the show.
Good.
Yeah. So I was calling because I knew what we were going to talk about today. And so I asked my daughter how she would define friendship, because she is kind of coming into her own now in elementary school and starting to connect and make friendships. And so this is what she said as her definition of friendship. She said, now I asked her around breakfast time, so there's a food theme coming through this. But she said the definition of friendship is that you and another person connect to each other. For example, it's almost like different things that connect to each other. Not like building blocks, but like if you ate chocolate milk with cornflakes, it wouldn't taste good.
Say that again. If you did what with chocolate milk?
She said if you ate chocolate milk with cornflakes, it wouldn't taste good. But friendship is like foods that do taste good and stick together, like bananas and pretzels.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes, and then she said, for another example is that cats and dogs don't usually get along well most of the time, but some kinds of fish get together and they like each other and they won't fight. And then she said, forget about the chocolate milk and start thinking about regular milk with your cereal. Milk and cereal can be friends. So can people.
Wow. So there's a compatibility there.
She's a racist.
Right. Yep.
So there's a compatibility.
What did you say?
I'm not saying that she's a racist. So there's a
Oh gosh, no. Jeez.
so there's a
No.
Yeah, I can take him out, but oh my God. But
Yeah, you should, Marilyn, for that comment.
listen, she's talking about compatibility.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's great. And what we're doing today is we're showing different ways of being friends and how, friendship can evolve and, what it looks like, whether it's just a temporary experience or it's everlasting, right? So compatibility is a wonderful, that was wonderful way of describing friendship.
Yeah.
That's
so
very
from
cool.
An 8-year-old.
That's very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Because I would look at friendship and it's some people just are not meant to be in your life for a very long time. But the meeting was impactful, was powerful, and they will forever be a friend. You may never see them again, but they will forever be a friend because they touched a part of your life, touched a part of your heart, touched a part of your world, right?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So anything else, Chris? Again, Amnon's got more.
But
Oh, yeah.
there's another side to it also. It's
Okay.
not always feel good and nice and everything
No, it's
in
not.
true friendship.
Right,
You have your fights, you have your disagreements,
right,
so
Right.
it's
right. And I want to talk about that too. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that up.
and it's a
because-
good thing because then you can really appreciate when
Right.
things are nice.
Like, what do you do with friends when it's not going well?
Right.
It's
Like,
just
what do
like
you do?
marriage.
What do you do?
You try to work it out, you
Right.
try to understand,
Right.
you try to forgive, you try to
You have to talk.
you have to talk. Absolutely.
You have to
Good.
communicate. And, you have to, if there's somebody in your life, I mean, and I hear people say this a lot. Chris, you might hear it as well. There's been somebody in your life that was a great friend in high school or a great friend in college or a great friend as, at work or whatever, and something happens and people stop talking to each other. Or they continue, but it's never the same again. And they don't communicate about what happened. They don't talk about, what might have been the misunderstanding, because so many times it's a misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not hard to pick up a phone and say what happened.
And what's
What?
the worst thing about the situation?
What?
20 years later,
Right.
they mention it and say, "Oh, really? That's all?
Exactly.
We missed 20 years because
Right.
of that."
Right.
Right.
Right. So it's interesting because time is a healer, because in 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever, the pain of whatever it is generally goes away. You don't even feel the
True.
same way, but nonetheless, you've also, I won't say wasted, but you also didn't use that 10, 15, 20 years to make nice,
Mm-hmm.
so that
Right.
so you can keep the friends. But it is so important to communicate. And
Yep.
but honestly, when you think about it, what do you do when it's just bad? What do you do when it's just plain bad?
You have to break up.
You have to break up,
Well, just like in marriage.
just like in marriage.
But I mean, friendship starts because of communications anyway.
That's exactly a good friend.
Yeah.
Not even a good friend, just plain friend. I mean, why do we even have to say good friend or
Right.
bad friend?
Yeah.
If a friend is a friend.
A friend is a friend.
Right? Chris,
Correct.
what do you think, right?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, I mean,
It's an oxymoron.
yeah, it's an oxymoron, exactly. A friend is a friend.
Yeah.
If a friend is standing you up, if a friend doesn't call you back, if a friend isn't there when you need the friend, it's not a friend.
Except under certain circumstances. I mean, it can
Right,
be
okay.
that the friend couldn't be there because
Okay, once
of
in
a good yeah.
right. But if
So-
it's a
But
pattern,
then you talk. No, when
Right.
it's a pattern, it's a
it's a
different
pattern.
story.
So let me ask you both a question then. Can
Okay.
you? What about forgiveness? Somebody is just a bad friend. Bad. They just don't call you back. They just are selfish. Blah 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, they figure things out and they want to become your friend again, or they don't even realize they did anything wrong, but all of a sudden they've seen the error of their ways, or they've grown up, they've matured, whatever, and they are better. Do you let them back in your life?
You talk.
You talk.
I
And
think
then-
so. I think
yeah.
you can.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you know when somebody is being a good friend?
I
A
think they
friend,
show
you
up.
mean.
They have to show up. Compatible, similar interests, or something that's and this is also, maybe it's not similar interests. I
Right.
just thought
It doesn't have to
it
be.
doesn't have to be similar interests. And it just, there's something that is compatible. There's some kind, I mean, you see people who have this big disparity of age, right? You could have a friend who's like old and then somebody who's young, but there's some kind of spark that when they're together works out well, and they're friends, right? They can talk about things, right?
I think so.
Yeah. What else? Anything else can you think of? There's a lot to talk about on the subject.
Oh, to be friends? Well, sometimes I think circumstances throw you together. Like I was
what?
thinking about my best friend from college. I don't know that we would have been friends otherwise, but we were in the same dorm, and we were trying to figure out college life, and we realized, those circumstances put us together to talk and to get to know each other, and then we realized, we actually do have some things in common, but, had I met her in different circumstances, I don't know.
Well, I think somehow we're brought together with people for reasons.
Yeah.
Right? Just
I
like,
think so.
yeah, just like you meet people for, it's interesting too, isn't it? How sometimes you meet people at just the right time, they come in your life and just the right moment, and I think it's about appreciating and acknowledging and being grateful for that person to have been in your life, to support you in whatever, for you to support them in whatever, and then sometimes you just move on.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's go to the next slide, just a second.
Sure.
So friends listen to what you say, best friends listen to what you don't say. What do you think about that?
I think some of the best friends know you well enough to know what to ask. Know that how you're responding to something may be too friendly, too happy, too optimistic. But a true friend knows you well enough to say, you know what, I don't think you're telling me the truth. And can be honest enough to confront you and say, you know what, I think there's more there. Let's talk about the stuff that you're not talking about.
I think it's great if anybody can do that. Seriously, I think it would be wonderful for everybody to be listen so well that they can do that. But, I guess, not everybody's a best friend. Doesn't mean that they're not really good friends, right? So, and just, a little boy and a little girl, he's black, she's white. I think it's an interesting visual, and that it doesn't matter. Gender, color, you connect. And it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Right? All right, people out there, we want to hear from you. We can go on and on and on. Call in. We'd love to have you. Remember, this is a license to talk about anything you want from this show. A license to share whatever's on your mind, whatever you go through, whatever you think. We would love to have you. So please feel free to call in and share with us. 919-518-9773. Our computers, number 2, K Voice on Skype. We would love to have you share with us. We could talk forever, and we will, but would love to have you share it as well. So the next slide. A best friend is a sister that destiny forgot. A best friend is a sister that destiny forgot to give you. How about that? What's your take?
Or a brother.
Or a brother.
Yeah.
Or a brother. Oh, I got brother ones too. I'm going through every relationship for the most part that you can go through. We've gone, I didn't find one for grandpa, but I had one for grandma, but you could replace grandpa with grandma. I had mom, I had dad. Now we're going to talk about sisters, or just a friend who's somebody who is like a sister. I mean, friendship, a woman in your life, just like a sister. That's another way of looking at a friend who's that close. Is a sister. Somebody
Oh,
that
yeah.
somebody that again you don't have to tell anything to. Somebody who just knows you, so knows you. If they don't know you well enough, want to know you. They want to know what you think, right? They want to be with you and connect and share moments and share good things. And there's no competition. I'm
And the
not.
bad times, too.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you thinking?
No,
You think?
it's a good quote.
Yeah. Why? Why do you think
Because it's so true. I mean, there's so many things that come, run through your head, but the friends that you had
so? Yeah.
and the friends that you have, and
Yeah.
yeah,
All right, next one. A friend is a brother who was once a bother. It's interesting because, like, I've got brothers now, and I will tell you what, growing up, it was tough.
it was a bother.
It was that they were a bother, and I'm sure I was a bother. But as you grow, you start to communicate differently. I've made a point of, with one of my brothers, calling him more regularly, just making that effort, talking about things that are not just, once in a blue moon things, like things you have to talk about, but things that you find that you want to talk about. And it's I don't know, I've always listened to my friends who've had, like, friends that, like, their brothers were like, oh my God, they would talk to their brothers all the time. I didn't talk to my one brother all the time. I talked to one more than the other. And now I'm talking to them both, and I'll tell you, it's really enhanced my life. It's really made a big difference in how I feel. There's a comfort in having family, brothers, sister-in-laws. Oh my God, my sister-in-laws have been on the texting machine constantly since yesterday. I have 7 sister-in-laws or 8 sister-in-laws, and we've been texting all since yesterday about Mother's Day, sending pictures, and I would consider them friends. I would consider them, women that I could share with, and I just had a new baby nephew in the middle of the night, so I've been sharing about that, and they're all asking me questions.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. So. It's been really kind of fun, and so what is the difference between being a friend and a family member? What's the difference? How do we relate to a friend that we don't relate to a family, or that we do, or vice versa? Who can tell me that? What is the difference?
There is no
The
difference.
I think there is a difference.
Okay, what is the difference?
I think with family, there's a feeling of, not negative obligation, but like, you do this because it's family, whatever it is. Whereas with a friend, it's by choice.
It's a good point. But to be a friend with a brother or a sister is also a choice.
Yeah, to
I
turn
agree
it
with
into
that.
a friend.
Yeah.
Why am I saying then to turn it into a friendship? What does it do to the level of relationship where I can take
It enhances it.
It enhances it.
Sure.
Yeah,
It enhances it. So
absolutely.
So the reverse is also true. That if I take a friend and make them a family member, or take a friendship and turn it into like a family person,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
That it enhances it. But separate, they're not the same. So
No.
a sister or a brother is one thing, or a sister-in-law, and then a friend, right? But when you can take the two and put them together, what does that create?
Oh, something much more robust,
Okay, what is that?
I think. Oh, it's the best of both worlds.
So what is that?
Is there a word for it?
Does it have to? I mean, what is it? But it's
It's
interesting
still
when
a
you think
friendship.
about it, right?
It's still a friendship.
Right. It's interesting to think
It's
about
just-
it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because, you
Yeah,
know,
like for example, with one of my dear friends, we made her godmother.
you made her godmother.
Yes. For our kids,
Okay.
and she's family.
And she's family.
Yeah, she's family.
So that's everything.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
and
interesting.
that's a great way to honor our friendship.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay. So, my brother, someone who hides my toys and breaks my dolls, but he picks me up whenever I fall. Someone who stands by my side and holds my hand when things don't go well to help me understand. Hold on, I have to move my cursor. Someone who makes funny faces to see how I'd react. I love my brother, and that's a fact. I mean, somebody you can have fun with.
And yeah, but that's a lucky person.
That's a lucky person who sees that, right?
Yeah.
So that's a fortunate person.
Fortunate, yeah.
Right.
Fortunate
It's
is
not
a better.
luck.
Right,
It's somebody
it's
who's
fortunate.
fortunate,
Yeah.
who's willing to see it.
Right.
Right? Who's interested in seeing it, who's willing to see it, who is looking for it, and who's willing to look the
Right.
other way.
Not only that, but he's fortunate to have. She's fortunate. I guess it's a she because of the dolls.
To have a relationship.
But to have a brother that is like that.
Right. Right.
I mean, most brothers will make faces not to see how you react. They just make faces to be mean.
Right.
Most of them will hide the toys not to pick them up later, or when they do it out of meanness.
Right.
I mean, they don't know at that age that it's
Well, what about adults?
Crazy.
I mean, what about it now? To adulthood. Someone
well.
who stands by your
If you
side
hide
and
their
holds my
toys
hand.
when you're an adult, you're in trouble.
but
Yeah, there's a
what
problem
things-
there.
Well, then replace the word toys with something else, or replace the word
Yeah,
hide
it can-
with something else.
No,
Yeah,
that's-
it can extend into adulthood like that.
Yeah, but who's still
That's mean.
right? But who's there? Make funny faces to see how I'd react. I love my, but making funny faces isn't always like a bad thing. It's somebody who, you know,
Yeah, it depends on the
says
face.
about things that are, that things are going to be okay, and let's look at the bright side, or whatever.
Right.
So, anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting to.
Is rolling
take a-
your eyes making faces?
Oh, I would hate
Is that making faces?
I guess so.
Well, that can
I
never
guess
be
so.
nice.
But it's also looking the other way. It's also being able to look the other way and taking the good with the bad.
Yeah.
And in some relationships, you got to do that, right?
Right.
And when it's family, sometimes more than when it's a friend. And even then, when it's a friend, sometimes you take the good with the bad. Maybe the good is far outweighs the bad. You just have to take a look and see what's in it for everybody, and is
Right.
it making sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I've had relationships in the past where every time I spoke with this one person on the phone, they never would talk about me. They would always talk about themselves. And whenever I would ask something or question something or try to share something,
It turns around.
it turns around. And after a while, that wasn't a fulfilling relationship. I think friendships need to be fulfilling. And it doesn't mean balance looks a lot of different ways. I always say that. It doesn't mean today you talk about me, tomorrow I talk about you. It means
Yeah.
you could talk about me for an entire week, or I can talk about you for an entire week, but then you're going to be there for me. You're going to do something for me, and it totally just balances out. Right?
Oh,
Right.
I agree. I
Okay.
agree.
So now-
Sometimes it helps me. Like if I'm really feeling crummy and then a girlfriend is going through something, I'd sooner listen to her for a little while and get myself out of my own stuff. So I'm happy to listen.
Right. Sometimes it's good to listen. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, so the
Because
next
I know
one.
she'll
yeah.
be there for me.
Absolutely. So, once again, I want to remind everyone that's listening, I shared this in the beginning of the show, I just want to do it now too, that we have a survey on Facebook, on Marilyn Shannon on Facebook, as well as the Breaking Free Show on Facebook. And I don't know if Chris, if we're going to post this in the show notes too, that'll be on MarilynShannon.com. but we would love to get your opinion of topics that you would like to talk about. If you know of someone that you think would be wonderful as a guest, we'd love to hear your opinion. And so we have a short little survey for you to do. It's only 4 or 5 questions. And in return for you filling out 4 or 5 questions, it's very simple. I will be offering a complimentary coaching session for a half hour for anybody who is interested. And you can write me at marilyn@marilynshannon.com for further information. So we'd love to have you do that.
Marilyn, I'm going to get off now so I can post that for you on chat.
Okay, thank you so much, Chris.
Okay, fun talking to you.
Bye.
You too, Anna.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, the next one is, okay, if you have to invite your best friend to your wedding, you are marrying the wrong person. In other words, you should be, your best friend should be the man you're marrying or the woman you're marrying. Or not just should be, but, should be right up on the list that you're marrying a person who is your best friend. Your partner, the person that you spend your life with, man, woman, same sex, doesn't matter. Should be somebody that you can tell anything to and should be a very good friend.
So if you're a guy and you invite your best friend to the wedding,
Another
you
best friend.
You should marry him.
Well, your mate should be a best friend,
Your-
not the
your mate,
only
yeah.
friend,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't be not a good friend. If you're involved with, if you're in a partnership, in a relationship with someone who is not a best friend, doesn't have to be the only best friend.
Right. Okay.
So these quotes are great, but I have to change them. Should not be the only best friend. Should be a best friend. And if your partner, if you're dating someone and they are not a best friend, you're in the wrong relationship. Okay? That is very, very, very important. Keep that in mind. And I just want to see if there's anything on the chat that I need to address. Okay, so Cindy says that's how it was with a former friend. It was all about her, or all about the friend. I'm not so much better off than she is out of my... Okay, so she's better off. Yes. If you're involved with somebody who is just taking, and not giving, then you're in the wrong relationship. Mm-hmm. Definitely. A friendship is 2 people coming together. Okay, here's an interesting one. Next one. No one can be friends after being lovers, but if they are friends again after being lovers, they are the best friends in the world.
I don't agree that you can be friends after being lovers.
They can't. Well, I think what it's saying is they can't just be friends. They got to be really good friends. Can't just be casual friends. There has to be it has to be even more than just friends. So if you break up with somebody, it's hard to be like a casual friend. There has to be this real intimate, strong connection with someone in order to remain friends. What?
Cindy.
Chris. What'd she say?
Friends with benefits.
Well, that's a possibility. But you really, it's, people say, well, let's break up and we'll still be friends. There has to be this real, maybe you were really better as friends than you were as lovers, so you become really like good friends because you've shared so much. That's possible, but to be a friend with a lover, a former lover, you have to be willing to open up a lot. You have to be willing to really stay in each other's lives and, really be important to each other. Casual friends won't work. Okay, next one. Friendship is not about whom you have known the longest. It is about who came and never left. So it's not always the person you've been friends with from elementary school. It's about who is that person who's there, still there, loves you to pieces, will do about anything for you, you'll do about anything for them, regardless of length of time that they've been in your life, but they're still there. That's a good friend. Next one. Okay, friendship isn't a big thing, it's a million little things. That's what makes a friendship. It's all those little teeny things that somebody does, that you notice, that you acknowledge, that they notice, that they acknowledge in you, and that you are very comfortable in sharing, and that you very much all the time you thank them for caring. That's a friend. It's somebody who doesn't see you for a long time and gives you a phone call just to check in. It's somebody that might write you a little email and say, I haven't heard from you in a long time. How are you? Those are the kinds of things that we're talking about. Those are the kinds of things that matter. It's not always the person who lends an ear every time something goes good or not good. Okay, the next one. True friendship, unlike love, always lasts forever. Possible, right? Unlike a lover, they're going to be around for a long time. And that's an interesting thing, too. You're friends with somebody who turning to being a lover. You want to be, careful. It's very difficult to go the other way once you've, gotten intimate. It's very difficult. So if you're a friend and you're being tempted with intimacy, sexual intimacy, it's very complicated. It complicates the relationship. Sometimes you have to think, do I want this person as my friend or not? Not to say that a relationship can't turn intimate and stay beautiful and wonderful, but it's really tough when things, be careful. Be as sure as you can. Next one. Thank you. Okay, I got to read this one. I'm not your heart, but I miss you. I'm not your family, but I care for you. I'm not your blood, but I'm ready to share your pain. Because I'm your stupid friend. Makes sense. Okay, next one. Thank you. What is this one? A best friend should love you like a mother, protect you like a father, talk to you like a sister, and fight with you like a brother. You can look at these things on all kinds of ways, but one of the most important things to look at these is about who's going to stand up for you. Like my brother used to fight with me all the time, but regardless, call him whatever you want, or call that friend whomever you want. Who is going to stand up for you the most? And that's also a good friend. So remember this: a best friend should love you like a mother, protect you like a father, talk to you like a sister, and fight for hell for you.
No, fight with
you for hell. Go to the ends of the earth for you. That's a good friend. Okay, next one. Real friends don't have to speak to or see each other daily to remain in each other's heart always. And I think that's a really important quote, and something to remember. You don't have to see somebody every day. They don't have to connect with you every day. You just hold them in your heart. And when you see them again, that thing wakes up in your heart, and it's like it never left. It's like getting up on a bicycle and remembering how to ride. You remember the feeling of that friendship. And that's true friendship. And I would say, look back on your lives and see, who is that person? Who is that person that has been in your life and you may not have seen for a long time? Who are they? Maybe you want to reach out and connect with them and say, you meant the world to me. And maybe it is that person that you had an argument with, but there's still something so important about that relationship that you want to let them know that, and go back into that relationship and say, hey, you've been my friend, and I want to tell you that. Okay, next one.
Did there some?
What is it? I'm sorry. Did I miss something? What is it? You
Yeah,
tell me. What is it?
Well, there's a few.
Okay. So.
First of all, Chris is asking.
Okay.
Do you think parents and their children can be friends?
Yes, and we touched upon that. I do. I think, especially at any age.
Cindy's saying my mom was my best friend.
Yeah, I think at any age when you can open up and be intimate and talk, and honestly, it's a moment. It's a friendly moment. I have it with my grandson. It's a connection. I'm not his friend, but we have those friendly moments. And as he grows, we'll be more and more friendly, and he'll grow, and I'll grow into being more and more like friends and doing things. Same with my daughters that are older now. We can do things. We can shop like friends. I'm still their mother, but we can shop like friends or go out for lunch like friends. I do that with my own mother. I talk to her about things that are on my mind. So yes, I think so. Julie says a friend is someone who sees through you and still enjoys the view. That's perfect. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a friend. Okay, so the next one.
Chris is saying,
Oh,
I
what?
don't think parents and their kids should be friends in the early years. Later on, as adults, definitely.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can understand that, but I do think that sometimes you sit back and you kind of like, you sit back, you have, watch a movie, you have popcorn together, you talk, it depends on the age. Everything's age appropriate, obviously, but there are friendly moments as parents, but you're always a parent. And parents do run into trouble when they try to be their children's friends and they go over the limit and they forget that they're parents and they tell them the things they're worried about. They share things with their kids that they did as kids that maybe they shouldn't. They want to be liked by their children, so they're too friendly. You're going to be loved and liked by your kids for almost everything you do. Even bad parents are loved and liked by their kids. So keep that in mind. And we can go in. I'd love to go into more of that, but we're almost done with the show. Man, this show went fast. Okay, wow. Remember my survey, please, please, please.
And the link is in there.
And the link is in the chat, and we'll post it on MarilynShannon.com, my website. It's on Facebook, Breaking Free Show. It's on Marilyn Shannon on Facebook. Please, 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 please. And if you can't find it and you're interested, contact me at MarilynShannon.com. And also, if you go to the next one, on my website, we have an area called Marilyn's Favorite Things. And I'm going to be posting things here of things that I really like. And things that, whether it's a person who's making jewelry, it's a book I like, it's something that has come into my view, and I really appreciate it, respect it, and I respect the people that are doing it. And I'm going to start posting things here. So please take a look from time to time and see who I've put here. Right now I have some clothing that I really like, that I wear, and I really enjoy it, and it's there. So go to MarilynShannon.com and you will see it. And if you have something that you would like me to consider to put here, again, write me to Marilyn@MarilynShannon.com, and I will be happy to write a personal message. Once I see your product and understand it, I will write a personal message about the product. I'll be happy to do that. And the last quote, a good friend would bail you out of jail, but your best friend would be the one sitting next to you saying, damn, that was awesome. I had to put that there. I'm going to repeat that one more time. A good friend would bail you out of jail, but your best friend would be the one sitting next to you saying, damn, that was awesome. So I hope you've had some fun today. We love doing these kinds of shows, and I love opening up and sharing, and I would love for you each and every week to do that with me as well. Please feel free anytime to connect with me at Marilyn@MarilynShannon.com. We'd love to hear from you if you have a product, a service that you would like us to consider to put in there. We'd love, this is a community, and we want to be like this one little community where we're together. I don't care if we're thousands of people, thousands and thousands and thousands. We can make it work. I promise. We can make it work. We can feel very connected, and we can make it work. So with that, I'm going to bid you an adieu for today. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Thank you for sharing your time with us, for being here. Everyone on the chat, thank you for sharing and being here and offering your comments. It means a lot. And we will see you very soon. Take care. Bye. Amnon. Signing off. Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVBI members, The Tanya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo, And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.